Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we're going to be looking at the OI, the tier 6 Japanese Super Heavy. I'm continuing up this line. I've already covered the tiers 3, 4 and the OI Experimental at 5 as well, so now we're looking at the OI, and you'll notice it looks very similar to the OI Experimental, which is understandable, seeing as that was the experimental version of this, although this is a bit bigger. And with that extra size comes some bigger guns and some more armour. Whereas the OI Experimental, I think, was 75 on the front, something similar on the sides, and about 70 on the rear. It might have been 50 on the sides. This is 150 on the front, 70 on the sides, 150 on the rear, and following fashion, 150 all the way round on the turret. And you've got a bit of an angle to, it's a very flat panel, but it is angled sideways ever so slightly. Flat panels on the side, but the rear does have the angles to it, and you can bounce a lot off the rear of this thing and off the rear of the turret and everywhere else, really, to be honest. There's only the sides you generally have to worry about when you're top tier. When you're not top tier, you stay back, and anybody familiar with the KV2, you kind of use it a bit like that, although you have got a lot more armour and you are a lot slower. You've got a choice of a 10cm gun or a 15cm howitzer, which is basically the same as the big derp gun on the KV2 as well. A few slight differences, but it's not far off, so anybody familiar and that likes the KV2 sort of gameplay will probably prefer the 15cm howitzer. Most other people will probably prefer the 10cm. Of course, it plays up to tier 8 as well, but let's have a look at some of the details. Well, not many guns, you have two. The 10cm, which is the stock gun, it's a bit different from the OI's one, the OI Experimental, sorry. Very similar to the Kaiju, well, it is the same as the one that's on the Kaiju OI. So 5 rounds a minute, 175 pen, 300 damage, 201 for your premium rounds, and your HE of 53 and 360, 3.2 second aiming time, 0.43 accuracy, so quite a poor aiming time and a poor accuracy for that gun. Traverse stock is 16 degrees for your hull and 18 for your turret. Your turret will not change. View range of 370 meters, which is not bad actually. That's about average for the tier. A lot of the Russians are lower than that, sort of the 330, 340 mark. There's a few that are higher at 390, but they're generally light tanks. So yeah, it's a pretty good view range. It's what you'd expect for it being such a big vehicle though, but a very, very poor signal range of 300 when it is stock. Then you unlock the 15cm howitzer. Oh, you've got an 1100 horsepower engine at that point. You only ever get 100 horsepower more, so it doesn't make a great deal of difference. Your first upgrade is your engine, not your engine, sorry, when I can get it right. It's your radio and the 15cm howitzer. Your radio range only goes up to 350. That is an issue, and it can become an issue when you're in battle, because anything over 350 meters away from you that's friendly, you are not going to see anything that they spot, so that can be a problem. Anything within your that's basically how it works. So anything within your radio range, if that friendly is within your radio range and it spots an enemy tank, they will pop up on your radar. If they are within your render range, you will be able to see them. Yeah, the 15cm howitzer, like I say, very similar to the KV2, slightly less rate of fire at 2.31, 121 pen, 700 damage for your standard armor piercing. Your heat rounds, which are premium, 150, 700, and then your HE, 75, 910. A horrible aiming time, one of the worst I've ever seen. In fact, I don't think there's anything higher than that. 3.7. I've only ever seen 3.4, I think, and accuracy 0.58. Yeah, you're getting onto artillery accuracy, aren't you, really? It might even be slightly more accurate than the KV2, daft as it sounds, but the KV2 has the hand of Stalin to guide it. But I need to check that out now. I don't want to take this video too long, but 0.6. Yeah, see, you have got more accuracy. Oh, no. Yeah. KV2 does have worse aiming time, worse accuracy, but a slightly higher rate of fire and slightly higher pen on its high explosive. However, I do take a few heat rounds. I've not really changed the loadout. It carries a lot of ammo, so 30 AP, which is just what was in it, minus, well, it had 36, but I put 6 heat rounds in and 24 HE, and I just fire HE personally, because even if you don't hit, even if you don't pen, you still do a whopping amount of damage, just like with the KV4. You take about half off, that still leaves you with 455 damage, and then it takes a percentage off per millimetre of armour, but you're still going to be hitting for 300 damage even if you don't pen. So that's why I personally take that, and they don't bounce either, which again is why I just generally fire HE rounds. After that one, your next upgrade is your engine and your tracks. Oh, no, you do get a new radio. I do apologise, I cocked that up. So it goes up to 425 metres, but that's still pretty crap, so do keep that in mind. Your hull traverse goes up to 18 degrees, but again, it is still incredibly slow. So is your turret traverse. But if you're used to the OI Experimental, and possibly the Excelsior, hey, bring that in, if anything gets behind you, just try and turn your turret towards it and keep your backside facing towards it, because that's 150mm and it's got some good angling on it. Your side is very flat and 70mm. So yeah, just try and turn your turret, or even just reverse over it and crush it if you can. Skills, I've been slacking somewhat with my skills on this, although I have got my Chi-No-Kai back. I got it back on the exception with the Excelsior, and I've got the STA2 Black on here, and I've got them all on the Xbox, but I treated myself to one on here. So I am going to have to get the crew done up a bit more, but I've got track mechanic, because you will get tracked a lot. I've got repairs. I will be getting 6th sense on it, but you definitely want clutch braking, you definitely want off-road driving. They are two. Yeah, Brothers in Arms is probably a recommendation as well. And then pretty much your standard heavy tank crew skills, maybe even situational awareness to increase your view range so you can spot your enemies first and bombard them with your massive shells. Supplies wise, well, on the 15cm howitzer, 540 for your standard armour piercing, 4,800 for your heat, which is quite pricey, and 660 for your high explosive, which again is quite pricey, but it's a big gun. But that is very expensive compared to a lot of the other tier 6s for the shells. But like I say, big gun, big damage, you earn more money per hit sort of thing. Equipment wise, well, I've got none on it at the minute. I've been very tight with this one. So all the replays you'll see with this are with no equipment whatsoever. But I would definitely say a gun rammer, I would definitely say a gun laying drive, and to be honest, the only other thing that possibly makes sense is either vents to try and improve everything about the tank, because it is big, it's big, it's slow, it turns slow, its turret turns slow. Even on the 10cm, it's not a very good rate of fire, to be honest, at 5 rounds. Again, it's a high damage gun, but Brothers in Arms would increase, would get your loading times down that little bit. Not Brothers in Arms, sorry. Vents, and if you have got Brothers in Arms, vents obviously works better with Brothers in Arms, etc., vice versa. Or a super heavy spore liner. You're a big artillery magnet, you're a massive target, you're slow, and you've got a huge upper deck which is weak. Artillery love to drop shells on you, and some of the higher tier artillery may even be able to pen your sides as well, so a super heavy spore liner might be a logical choice instead of the vents, but that's probably what I'd go for on this. Let's have a think. No, not ops. Modules. Right, well, fully upgraded, it's a 1200 horsepower engine. It's only 100 more than stock, so your power to weight ratio doesn't change a great deal, and it's 8. You're a massive machine. I think like 100 tons or 150 tons, something like it. It's huge. So yeah, you've got a power to weight ratio of 8, which is poor. Like I say, you are slow. You've got a max speed of 29 kilometers an hour, and you will more than likely only ever do that downhill. You've got a reverse speed of 10, which again is on the slow side, and a 20% chance of fire. And just look at the size of the engine. It takes up, well, from the back of the tank, it's, there is that gap in the middle, but from the side, it's most of the sort of middle rear half of the tank. And don't forget that with the tracks, you've got a side skirt, you've got the tracks, and then you've got the inner hull side as well. So it is harder to pen it there than it is just above. You see the lump that sticks up, and I've said this in the other ones, that's where you want to be penning it. And if you go towards the rear of that lump, you'll hit the engine, and as you'll see in a minute, if you go to the front of it, there's a good chance you'll hit the ammo rack. Big gun on top, easy to hit and damage. So possibly armourer might be a skill. That's just sprung to mind, because I have had the gun damaged a few times, and with a damage gun in this, well, you're not going to hit anything. You might accidentally hit Himmelsdorf from Karelia, but that's about it. Now, tracks, quite a few gaps to get through, but with the side skirts and everything else, the safer bet for penning this is above the tracks, like I said before. Turret on top, well, you'd expect it. The radio is in that corner of the turret, so the sort of left-hand side if you want to try and isolate them a little bit more. And ammo, there's a lot of ammo. Those upper portions there and right below it, so it's a good big ammo strip. But the best place, like I say, is that upper part there where it's easier to pen. If you've got the front, that is one of the best places to pen it from the front because it's flatter than the rest of the tank. Remember, this is 150 all over the front, we'll see that in a minute. Because that sort of shoulder corner is a lot flatter and there's the ammo rack behind it, it's the best place to actually hit it and pen it. Crew members, you've got 6. Well, you've got the driver right down in the middle, you've got a guy in each of the mini turrets on the front, and then you've got your commander, gunner and loader up in the top turret there as well. Some of these do have somebody in the rear turret, but not this one. Now, armour wise, like I say, it was 150 on the front, it was 70 on the sides and 150 on the rear, and the turret's 150 all around, and that's pretty much what we're seeing. Oh, concealment, by the way, is 0. Yeah, really. 0. That's moving and stationary. Again, I can kind of understand it, but at least give it a token like, you know, 0.01 or 0.02 or something. Right. 21 to 30 is the whole bottom of the hull. It's the track tops there, which are, I suppose you could hit them in a pinch, maybe, possibly. It's a bit of an odd thing. And what looks to be the sort of base of the turret as well. 31 to 50. Well, that's your side skirts, that's your tracks come into that, and the inner portions, the inner hull side as well. So, I mean, let's just say that all that is 31 at the minimum. So you've got 31 side skirts, you're up to 62, sorry, with the tracks in there, and then 93 with the inner part of the hull, whereas that upper portion that isn't filled in at the minute, that is just 70. So, you know, it could be worse than that. It could be 31, 50 for the tracks and another 31 for the hull. In which case, you know, you're looking at 82. I know, that's not worse. Have I got this wrong? Has my maths just gone out the window? I think it probably has. You're looking at 112. Yes, my maths did go out the window very badly. But anyway, but yeah, so that's why I'm saying don't hit it there, hit that upper portion. Now, 51 to 70. Oh, and obviously it was all the upper decks as well, which is why Artie loved these things. It's your sort of lower front plate, the upper parts of the side. I can't emphasise enough, hit it there. And that's about it, and sort of bits around your gun. And then the rest of it, as you can see, well, yeah, it's basically 150. So you've got the front plate, which is very well angled. You've got that flatter part, which is the easier place to pen it. If you can't, try and get a flat surface on one of those mini turrets. That, you know, that makes it that little bit easier. It's still 150mm, but it's flatter, so it generally just is 150mm rather than, you know, obviously the angling coming into consideration, and obviously the backside of the tank is that as well. Now, I think that's about it. Yeah. Oh, you've got 950 hit points in this as well. That, I think you have that from stock, if I remember rightly. So I think that's about it. If you want to see this with the 10cm gun, I did cover that in the Kaiju OI review. That's why this one's a bit weird for me to do, because I've already done the Kaiju. So if you want to see the 10cm gun in action, go back and have a look at my Kaiju review, and you can see it there. And obviously you'll be able to get a hint as to whether you want to use the 15cm or the 10. I'm just using the 10 in these replays. But let's get into them now, because this has been a bit of a longer review again. Right, so here we are for the first replay. It's a tier 7 match, it's port, and it's a standard battle. And I did forget something in the garage, and that was gun depression. It's got minus 10 degrees of gun depression and plus 20 elevation, so it's not too bad. But if you're low profile enough, you can actually get alongside these things as well, where the armour is weakest, and sometimes it can't actually get its gun down to shoot at you because it's such a tall vehicle. But you do have to make sure that you're low enough to get under his gun. You don't want to get right up alongside it and then get derped in the side of the turret, because that would hurt quite a bit. Now, this one's from, I think, about a week ago actually, when I was just sort of grinding through it. And I don't know, when you're not top tier, more so in tier 8 matches I think, you have to sort of hang back a little bit in this, a bit like you would in the KV2 for those of you familiar with that. And I wouldn't say be sort of at the extreme, you know, the extremities of render range or anything as drastic as that. You have got 150 mil of armour, and you know, at a decent range it will bounce, you will struggle to hit stuff, but I suppose use it more like a direct line of sight artillery in that situation. Hopefully the range will decrease penetration enough on anything shooting at you to, you know, allow it to bounce. And if not, just try and hide the bulk of your tank if you can. I mean, it is big, so that is a bit more difficult. Now, while I'm actually moving across here, I will mention that the toy tank mode and the Krampus Hunt PvE event, that's player versus environment event, will be going on tomorrow, which is the 22nd, so that'll be a bit of fun. Apparently the toy tank mode, you are battling around the presents under the Christmas tree in the garage. And the Krampus op, well, according to the news feed, it looks like the Krampus is actually a mouse with very big horns on it. So we'll have to wait and see what that one actually entails. Now, I got very excited having the side of a tiger, although with his angle I had to put it through the turret, but that was still over 800 damage done to that tiger, and that's why I kind of like the 15cm. Oh, and also from the excuse me, my voice is going there. Also from the Q&A on the Battle Heroes section, there's, well, they're working on a large audio update, but that means that in 2017 the national crew voices will be coming, so you'll basically, you know, in Japanese tanks they'll be speaking Japanese, or at least have a Japanese accent, and you know, British, American, etc, etc. So that will be coming sometime in 2017, and it did say that they were having a meeting very soon about the replay system. So I know I did mention about the possibility of accepting subscriber replays, but I think I might just wait out on that one a little bit longer and see what happens with this replay system, because that would make it a lot easier for you guys. Hopefully easier for me as well, but definitely easier for you guys with the uploading and what have you, because at the minute you'd have to upload it to YouTube and, you know, mess about and what have you. So I think, like I say, I'll just hold off a little bit longer and see what happens with that. Now, as with a lot of the slow tanks, you do get matches like this where, well, if you go one way expecting there to be a lot of tanks there, and you know, they surprise you and go a different way for that match, you know, it happens sometimes. Normally there's a lot of tanks go up to that corner that we went on, but in this match there was hardly anybody up there, and I've not actually managed to do much so far, just one penetrating hit and a bit of critical damage. So it's not a very good advert for this tank at the minute, to see whether you'd like to have it or go up this line, but at least you'll see what it's capable of. A bit more does happen, I promise. And also, I mean, really with these videos it's just giving you tips on how to play them if you're already going up this line, or you're on this tank and you're struggling with it. So hopefully I can help you out. And I think after Christmas I may start a new tank series doing map tips, that sort of thing, similar to how I did the Overlord video when that update launched. Try and put it in a training room and sort of fly through and try and give just tips on, you know, where I've had success in certain types of vehicles. Now, I did manage to hit that, was it T29 I think it was, and I'm going to try and close in a bit on this Oni and do a bit of damage. Now I don't think I'll be able to pen him unless I can get his side. I'll not be able to pen him, but I can at least do a decent amount of splash damage. And there you go, just over 300, and that was just splash damage, and that's one of the other reasons why I like this gun. The reload and accuracy are two of the reasons why I'm, you know, they're two bad things about it, but they are two good things about it. The fact that you can do 300 damage without even penning. And now I've got the side, I've got a better chance of penning, but it looks like, no, reverse back into cover. Let's see if there's anything else I can have a go at. Oh, there's the enemy OI. That was a very lucky shot. I had to take that one without it being fully aimed, and thankfully it actually hit the target, and that was the enemy OI taken down. Now I've got the front of that Oni again, and again I know I'm not going to penetrate, but if I can do 300 splash damage, I'll be happy with that again. But the tiger made his presence known, so I turned to possibly deal with him because I was nearly reloaded, but then he starts getting pushed back. The Oni goes after that medium, and it's round the other side of the building, so I am very slow. And like I say, this does have a 29 km/h top speed, but you know, even on this, on the tarmac, on the roads, it was struggling to do 21 back there. Now I'm picking up a bit of speed, but again, it was, you know, only 25. And that Oni, I could have actually rammed him and taken him out. He was on very, very low health. That just leaves the tiger, and it's whether I can reload in time to actually, well, to kill him. And his shot goes really wide, and then he goes for the ram, which was very, very silly because I'm a very, very heavy tank. And even though he's a very heavy tank, like I say, I'm a very, very heavy tank. A daily double of 4,212 XP and just over 2,000 damage done. I've seen people get a lot more damage in these with that gun, but my average seems to be between sort of 2,000 and 3,000 damage with it. And I didn't come top, but I came second, so I'm quite happy with that. I didn't actually get to fire that many shells, but all 5 that I did fire did hit, so I'm happy with that. And it says they penetrated, but yeah, that one on the Oni definitely didn't, and I think it's just because it did damage, possibly. I don't know. Right, here's the next replay for you. Again, it's a tier 7 match. It's on Great Wall, and it's another standard battle.
We've got enemies incoming. Either take them out or capture their base.
And this is one of those games where I tried, well, just thought I'd try something a bit different. You've got to do these things, that's how we learn. And instead of going round the back or round into the village, or possibly, no, I don't know if I take this up the hill on the other side just because it is very slow, but I decided to take it up this hill, just to the right here, and up towards the centre of the map over the, over this way. Now I do come up here in other vehicles. I wouldn't normally take something like this up here because it will take me a little bit to get up there. But I thought I'd try it because, well, it gives me a good view over the valley. I could possibly get up to the middle where you can pass through the wall and provide sort of some flanking fire maybe if they start to get overrun that way slightly. But yeah, it does provide a good view over the valley, which means that hopefully I can get some pretty decent sort of supporting, almost artillery-like shots in, really. And that's why I decided to come up this way, because, like I say, normally I wouldn't in something like this. Now there's an IS down in the village, but I'm going to push on a little bit more and try and get a bit further up. And we've got a medium round there, 3002D. Not particularly well armoured. You've got a decent slope into it, but these don't bounce. But then again, they don't get the normalisation that armour piercing does. So it might just splash damage him, but still it'd be a nasty chunk of his health gone. And I get the back of the IS, and it was a dodgy shot, but I hit him. Didn't pen, but still 300 splash. I took his tracks off, so I'm going to get some assisted from that as well. And fingers crossed I might be able to reload and put another hit into him. Am I going to get the reload? He's not dead. I do, and I actually managed to take him out. So now I'm going to see if I can deal with this 3002. And I was going to go forwards, then I thought better and thought no, I'm going to back up because he's going to come up over the hill, which he did. And if I'd have been closer, I have a feeling it would have charged me to try and get alongside me and start circling me and putting the shots in, so that's why I backed up. It'd have way too much ground to cover to try and get to me. And that was a very, very lucky shot. I thought he was actually going to pull back a bit further. I was hoping to catch his turret, but he stopped and it just clipped the back of his tank. And with him backing off, well, I thought if I can get close enough and use this, use this rise, get over this rise, go down the other side, I might be able to ram him and kill him, but he's gone, he's falling back. Like I said, clipped him, took off nearly half his health, and he's decided, you know what, no, I'm going to try and attack this from a different angle, and who can blame him? I'd say that was the right thing to do. Now I'm taking shots from over on the hill, on the other side of the valley. But they were bouncing, so yeah, I felt safe in just popping over, putting the shot into him to finish him off. I think he injured himself actually getting down off the hill. And because they're bouncing, I'm going to wait here and I'm going to try and zero in on where I think they are. And I'm keeping an eye on that big clump of enemies behind me, but I'm taking a risk with that shot and actually hit him and take him out as well. And I'm not sure, well, we'll see at the end if that was a one-shot kill from full health or whether he was already damaged. It was a KV-1S, so have a look. Yeah, keep an eye out for that one in the results. Now, we were getting capped, but whoever was capping has come back out again. RT is on the move, our RT, so obviously, yeah, there's something up there, and he wants to get away from it, but there was a large clump of enemy tanks just up over here. So I'm going to come up and see if I can actually lend a hand and try and take some of these down. Right, we've got a low health M6. He's, well, all I've got to do is hit him, and he's a goner. Somebody else takes him out, and I was just about to pull back. Or, no, I do pull back. I actually thought there was somebody else up there, but I was a bit too late. So I turn around to try and help out the medium and the RT, but unfortunately too late to help out the medium, but hopefully I can still save our RT and get down there and take out that T150. Now, as you can see, it's a bit quicker going downhill. Oh, and it's a little Bert. Yes, come on. Hopefully I can save Bert. And that T150 is going to be completely unaware that I'm here. So Bert's legging it. He's coming up here thinking he's chasing a very damaged Bert. And he's going to come face to face with an OI instead. With a full 15cm gun. I bet that was a bit of a nasty shock for him. But that was quite funny. And I just would have loved to have seen his face. And that's when artillery, yeah, gives me a bit of a knock. So I do need to get out of here. Luckily, it's not a very big artillery. And it did seem to just clip me, so otherwise that could have been very nasty. As you can see, it is a very, very large deck to be hit with on, well, for artillery to hit you on. And I have been one-shot a couple of times by sort of tier 7, I think it was, possibly artillery. And I remember saying at the time, I actually said to my wife, that's a bit of a dodgy shot. She said, yeah, it'd be funny if you hit it though. And yeah, I hit it, so I was really surprised with that. That was a very, very iffy shot through that gap. And then Bert finishes him off. And yeah, just a case of basically heading towards enemy cap. There is a light tank left. I'm not going to be able to chase him down. I doubt Bert will want to because he's on such low health. And with that guy capping, well, if that light tank was on his way to our cap, there's no point now because obviously he's not going to outcap on his own. So yeah, just going to head towards his cap and see if he either hides and survives or comes back to try and reset and see what he actually does. But that's pretty much the fighting done for myself, I would say. So yeah, I think I'll use this time to wrap up actually before the results come up. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it's maybe giving you some tips or ideas on how to use the OI if you're going down this line or thinking about going down it. or maybe if you weren't too sure and you want to know a bit more about the tanks, hopefully this review series so far will help you decide whether to go down that tank line, because, you know, going down a tank line in World of Tanks, it is an investment of a lot of time and effort. So if you go down it and you find out halfway through it that you just cannot stand it, you know, it's one of those things. You know, you might be, you know, I can't stand the first 6 tanks, but the 7th looks really good, so I'll stick with it, that sort of thing. Or, you know, it's not worth my time or my effort, I'm going to put it into going down a different tank line instead. So hopefully I've been able to help you out with that. As you can see, the light tank, he did go for the cap in the end, try and farm himself a few capture points, which is fair enough, you know, can't say I blame him. And that's the match. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. And like I said before, if you do want to see the 10cm gun, if you go back and have a look at the Kaiju review, obviously that's got the 10cm gun, so you'll be able to get a good idea of it there. I only used the 15cm with it, but came out of that with just under 2,500 damage done, a high caliber, and a first class mastery. So yeah, I did enjoy it, and I've now sold it and moved on to the tier 7. Is it the Oni? I think it is. So I'll be doing a review of that hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But anyway, as for now, take care out there, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.